there, beautiful earth angels. Elvia Rowe here from angelsteach.com, and it's been a while. It's been a long while, for very good reason. For those of you who follow me on YouTube, you know I posted something back in January that our daughter, I'm going to try to do this without tearing up, was diagnosed with brain cancer in January with a 2.5 centimeter tumor at the base of her brainstem. And in February, she got surgery to remove 90% of it. It was attached to the brainstem, so couldn't get all of it. And then this was all out in California, and I was out there with her, as were family and friends, and we had so much support. It was just really life-changing, frankly. And then in March, she came back to Massachusetts to get radiation treatment at Mass General Hospital. And we just found out that she's cancer-free. Like, talk about miracles, because the prognosis was that the tumor would always have some remnants because of where it was and the type of tumor it was, etc. But her scan that she just had showed nothing. So we've all been walking around like just in amazement at the power of the medical community. She had incredible medical care, the power of love. Know that made a difference. The power of prayer, I am positive that made a difference. Just, she had everything she needed. And because of all of the unknowns and the severity of the disease that she had, it was quite a ride. Quite a ride. Very much a roller coaster and a journey through what my angels keep saying was a version of hell. And as I explained in my update to the list, that I'll post the blog post, you can see more details if you're curious. But it really felt like hell, this torturous experience recreated each of us individually and us as a family. It forged us anew. And I think that's what hell gives us, the opportunity, or the experience of that kind of intensity gives us the opportunity, the choice to keep following guidance and having as much faith as possible. And trust me, I didn't always feel like I was following my guidance 95% of the time. The angels are agreeing, but I certainly had my moments that were very dark, very dark. And they led us through it. They led me through it. And anyway, so grateful. And really honored and delighted to be back in this space and offering you a reading for the month of August. Before we get there, I do just want to share that all of this experience, one of the things it's made me realize is how much grief is part of the story in ways that I don't think most of us naturally think about grief. You know, of course, when someone we love dies, there's grief. But I think grief has woven its way into the fabric of our lives in so many different aspects. And I'm feeling very called to help folks who really want to go deep into healing that. So more to come on that. In the meantime, the inspiration, I have to say, for this month's readings is very, very personal, because one of the things that got us through this journey was imagination. And just making up silly songs and playing with stuffed animals and making up stories about them. And so we discovered this toy line. I don't even want to call them toys because they feel so real to me. They're like our friends. Jellycat. You may know of them, Jellycat. They have an amazing Instagram account, by the way. Definitely follow it if you want to smile every day. But we had a few of these jellycat, cactus and a caterpillar, and the family has grown. And we made stories because we were in the car a lot. We were waiting for doctor's appointments a lot. We were just doing a lot of things. And so what kept us elevated and connected as much as possible to grace and to faith was just being in this space of making up stories and using our imaginations and connecting to that force that is so, I think, lost many times when we become adults. We forget the importance of play and imagination, and it was so pivotal in our getting through this. I can't even tell you, but so much so actually that at the end of her treatment in Boston, we bought 13 different jellycats, and my daughter wrote a little note on each one and tied it around their little tail or foot or whatever, and we donated it to the children who are facing difficult journeys in the cancer center there. So anyway, I pray that these little guys bring you exactly the message that you need at this time. I invite you to choose number 1, number 2, or number 3. So take a breath, tune in, and see which of these sweet little faces has what you need at this time. So I wasn't sure which one the angels were going to choose for number 1, but this is the one that came through loud and clear just now. So for those of you who chose number 1, you get this sweet little chameleon dude. Isn't he adorable? I should have taken a little video of it, because one of the things that's so magical about these jellycats is that they're very soft and they're also very flexible, so they're great for like doing little dance moves. And anyway, the message for you, number 1, folks, is this is a chameleon. So where perhaps are you compromising? Where are you trying to fit in? Where might you be people pleasing? And I'm hearing maybe don't even realize that you're people pleasing. You know, so many times I think we light workers, we feel the pain in others, we feel the emotions, the intensity, and all of that so much that we've just developed this habit that we're not even necessarily aware of just compromising our own truth and just, okay, you know, trying to make it go away, trying to ease the pain by not staying true to the self, but trying to ease the other's pain. And sometimes that's because it makes us feel better. But in the end, we're still compromising our truth. And little story, our daughter's very intuitive, as are all of us. Some of us just more connected. Or I should say not connected, more aware. We're all connected. But she's a scientist as well as an artist. She's a Gemini, so she's, you know, likes to make decisions with all of the data. You know, that's how she likes to operate. And meanwhile, you know, so sometimes when we were navigating things, it was a little bit hard because that's not how I make decisions. I just have this intuitive knowing. And I honor and respect her method. It's just different. And so I found myself needing to not really compromise, because these were all her decisions, her medical journey. But there were times perhaps with non-medical decisions, let's put it that way, you know, like going to the grocery store or going to get coffee or whatever, where I was compromising and I wasn't following my guidance, and little things, you know. And this for you, number 1, folks, I'm hearing it's not so little, that there's something pretty big that you're compromising your truth on. And so, you know, it's August. It's not a time that we want to do a whole lot of work, so to speak, but We are being invited, encouraged, and given the opportunity to look at what that might be. So I'm just going to grab my pendulum and see if the angels have anything else to say at this time. They're saying no. That feels complete. In a sentence, be true to you. And trust that, this is the hard part. Being true to yourself, sometimes we feel like it's going to mess up everybody else's lives. And it doesn't. When something is true and right for ourselves, it's true and right for everybody involved. For you folks who chose number 2, I love this guy. Oh my God, isn't he adorable? I showed this picture to Peter and I said, so what do you think the message in this guy is? And he said, aren't you glad you picked me? So for you number 2 people, aren't you glad you picked this little guy? He's so happy. He's so joyful. He's so, I don't know, in the moment. And yet, he's tied himself in a little bit of a knot. He's actually this longer, I don't know what kind of creature he's meant to be, but he's actually about maybe 1.5 feet long, maybe, yeah, something like that. And whoever had him in the display had tied his tail around like this, and as you can see, there's a little bit of a knot. So for you number 2 folks, there's just a little message of taking life too seriously. That there's an invitation for you to just lighten up somehow, find a way to play, find a way to bring joy into your life. And I get it. A lot of people are walking through their own version of hell right now. A lot of people are feeling so much pain as they look at the world stage. I get it. I share a lot of that. And I was thinking in my meditation this morning, the angels were helping me to, as I was preparing, helping me to understand that, if there is this correlation of as within, so without, that feels so true, that if we're allowing all this inner turmoil to continue to, I'm hearing ripen, without doing the work to heal it, how does that affect the world stage? How does that affect things like climate change? There have been some studies that connect people's emotions and centeredness to the weather. I don't know how extensive some of those studies have been, but if you embrace the holographic model, again, as within, so without, then there's truth in it. And in my cells, I don't like to be a spiritual person who says truths with this certainty that it's absolute for everyone. The only thing I will say is absolute for everyone is the healing power and the grace of love. That's undeniable. Can I say without a little bit of, this is my belief, as within, so without? Absolutely. But can I say that it's a certainty? I feel like that's actually doing a disservice to humanity, to spirit, to my guides, because I think we're all here, a little clairaudient emphasis there, because I think we're all here to discover and experience our own relationship with God, with the universe, and with the forces that are here supporting us. And I have my own very clear, strong beliefs, but I would never ever want to impose those on another person. So you need to be and embrace the journey of discovering what your relationship is with the angels and with God and with Source. So as you feel into as within, so without, maybe our own healing and embracing our own healing will affect the world stage in a very positive way. I feel like I'm digressing a little bit, and the angels are saying no, needed to go here. But bringing it back to just allowing more joy in your life and allowing your heart to sing a bit more, connecting with others, doing things that may seem silly, making up a story about a cactus who's a lawyer who never won a case, who's a stuffed animal, I can't even tell you how much joy that brought. So harness your imagination. Yeah, that's the sum of it. So this guy's a little bit related to our orange friend, about imagination. It's about belief. For those of you who chose number 3, it's really about examining your beliefs. It's not so much about stepping into joy. Of course, that's always a part of the journey. But the emphasis with you number 3 people is to be examining your belief system. Where are you limiting yourself? Are you putting a cap on your ability to just be silly? Are you putting a cap on your desire to sing? I'm hearing. Are you putting a lid on your ability to connect with others? As I say that, the angels are bringing me to this message that I wrote actually for our membership this month about just the simple act of connecting with other people out in the world and how important it is. I was at CVS the other day, and the woman at the counter wanted me to get out my license for a prescription I was picking up, and I'm like, I just got my nails done. Do you mind getting it for me? And she's like, oh my God, I love your nail color. What is it? And I said, oh, it's one of the Barbie colors. And then we started talking about Barbie, and she had been really frazzled, and I had to wait like 5 minutes because she was busy over doing something over there. And by the time we were done with our conversation, she was more relaxed. And I was feeling good because, we're not meant to live in this insular, isolated kind of way, and I'm naturally an introvert. It's hard for me, it's work for me to connect with other people. And certainly there are times when we are guided to be in our caves, absolutely. But, it's also important to push the envelope. We're talking about where are we capping ourselves, and are we capping ourselves from being able to reach across the aisle, and getting a little bit political there, and I don't want to go there directly, but in the sense of believing in the good of all people. And that can be really hard. So are we putting a lid on our ability to believe in others, and to taking it even further, to have faith in the healing power of humanity? Oof, I just got a huge resonance on that. I was listening to this thing yesterday about the unicorn and the relationship with Chiron, the wounded healer, and the unicorn has actually been associated with Christ too. So, we think of unicorns, we think fantastical, possibly fabricated, but I think it's where are we putting a lid through, and where is that horn going to poke through that lid and believe in the healing power of humanity, believe in the healing power of the leaders of our world, that they can find a way to step forward in love and grace and respect for all of life and be a uniting force that helps us all heal together, which feels like a unicorn at times. And yet, we are being invited here today to believe, especially if you're number 3. And there's something else coming in for you, number 3, folks. So the other thing is that if you chose this number, you possibly have a more active role in helping others to believe as well. Interesting. That feels like a little bit of a postscript. And maybe not all of you will feel that somewhere in your body, in your soul, in your spirit, but my readers, many of you will. So we complete with that? I think we are. I pray that you got everything that you needed from your reading here today, and I do invite you to, maybe you got one number, maybe you got more than one number. Just trust, come back, watch the video again, see if the same thing comes up. Trust what comes through for you, because you're going to be getting your own messages clairaudiently, the sounds that happen as you're listening to this in your environment, the things that you might be noticing in your environment as you're processing this message, the things that you're feeling in your body, really important to pay attention to, and what you just know. What's kind of in your core, hardwired in who you are as a soul, as a human, walking the earth at this time. So with that, again, more to come. I am delighted to be back in this space again. Thank you for joining me here today. So much love to you and yours. This is a challenging time for all of us, and the more that we can stay connected and tuned into our guidance and working with our intuition, we will do this. So much love. Be well.